5 US B-2 Spirit bombers struck first, flattening the entire Somali mountain in seconds. A stunning display of stealth and precision. Witness this rare glimpse of how the US Navy is rewriting the rules of modern warfare. "2:47 a.m. The ground shook, but no one noticed. No sirens, no jets, no trace in the sky. Just silence. And then collapse. Deep beneath the anti-Lebanon mountains, one of Hezbollah's most formidable underground fortresses disappeared in an instant. Not by a fight, not by a battle, but by a message, a blow to the heart of the enemy, where darkness, tunnels, and concealment were once an impenetrable shield. But America found a new way, deeper, faster, more stealthy. Operation Black Echo was a top-secret mission, an attack that required no declaration of war, no ground troops, just a plane, a bomb, a decision. And an entire mountain turned into a tomb. It all started with a faint signal on the dark internet. Then came satellite imagery, small packages being pulled under cover of camouflage in the Bekaa Valley. Trucks were constantly moving in and out of a secret area, hidden in the anti-Lebanon mountains. But this time, it wasn't just a weapons depot. It was the nerve center of drone warfare. Located nearly 100 meters under solid rock, the strategic command base, codenamed 72 Alpha. On June 2nd, 2025, U.S. intelligence confirmed Hezbollah was preparing to launch a series of suicide drones loaded with high explosives against U.S. oil tankers in the Mediterranean. The drones were no longer outdated copies. They were compact, fast, jam-proof, and controlled from this fortified bunker. A successful attack would not only throw global oil supplies into chaos, it would also severely damage U.S. credibility in the region. The situation was urgent, but the choice is not easy. Ground attack? Impossible. The terrain is treacherous, booby-trapped. No escape. Conventional bombing? Useless. The bunker is reinforced with thick, shock-absorbing concrete built to Soviet design. The U.S. needs something silent, precise, absolutely deadly. And then, the order came in the night. Activate B-2 Spirit. Operation Black Echo had officially begun. No tanks, no banners. Just one stealth bomber, one bomb, and one goal: to collapse the entire mountain from the inside. From the sky, the site looked like nothing. Just a desolate limestone mountain lying silently on the Syrian-Lebanese border. But underneath was one of Hezbollah's most sophisticated command bunkers. With triple-layered concrete walls, shock-proof doors, auxiliary tunnels, backup power sources, an arsenal of drones ready to fire. But what makes 72 Alpha dangerous isn't just its capabilities, it's the belief that it can't be knocked down. They think the rock is an eternal shield, but they're wrong. Because the Americans didn't just observe with their eyes, they simulated the terrain, ran AI to analyze rock thickness, tracked airflow, looked for structural weaknesses. When the plan was complete, 72 Alpha was no longer a mystery. It was a blueprint waiting to be crushed. 2:41 a.m. At 35,000 feet, the B-2 Spirit silently tore through the sky like a ghost. No radar detected it. No radio signal. Nothing could stop it. On board, there was only one bomb. The GBU-72B Hell Spike, America's most advanced, ground-penetrating weapon. 5,000 pounds of hardened steel, with artificial intelligence, capable of adjusting the time of detonation according to depth. Made no sound, just fell silently like a shadow into the ground. 2:47 a.m. The Hell Spike penetrated the eastern slope of the mountain, penetrating nearly 280 feet deep. Sensors were constantly calculating, calibrated every microsecond. Then, absolute silence. Seconds later, the entire mountain shook from within. No fire, no smoke, just pressure, internal shockwaves that blew apart every room, every corridor, every life inside. The bunker did not explode, it collapsed from its core. Seconds later, the ammunition detonated a second time. Huge boulders shattered. Everything was gone. On the aircraft carrier USS George H.W. Bush, the screens showed only two words: objective, obliterate. No cheers, no official statements, no survivors. All was silent, and that was the most powerful statement. But the battle was not over. In the rubble, an alternate exit was left behind. 8 Hezbollah survivors staggering out of the ravine. They thought they had escaped death. That hope was not lost. But they did not know. They had been marked while they were still alive. Even before the bombs fell, infrared satellites had locked on every heat signature. After the explosion, the 8 signals split up, moving up the mountainside. 3 a.m., the coordinates were immediately transmitted to 2 Israeli F-35 Adir stealth fighters hovering over the Golan. No need for conversation, no need for confirmation. Just a click. 2 GBU 39B smart bombs went like lightning, adjusting the trajectory on the fly. No errors, no chance of escape. When the dust cleared, there was no one left. 8 heat signals, gone. No collateral damage, no time wasted, just a perfect obliteration. This operation is not just an attack, it is a declaration. The declaration says, however deep you dig, however well you hide, we will find it, and we will destroy it from the heart. The GBU 72B, not the bomb of the past, the bomb of the future. It does not seek the surface, it seeks the deepest weakness. No need to make noise, just precision, killing without anyone having time to react. And when combined with the B-2 spirit, it becomes death without form, without sound, but absolute. Modern warfare has changed. It does not need numbers. It does not need armies. It requires the right decision, the right technology, and the right time. One bomb, one plane, one decision. An entire fortress crumbled to dust. No nation claims responsibility. No radar detects it. Hezbollah collapses silently. And that is the new power of America, silent but inescapable. behind that silence, behind that absolute precision and determination, is a larger message. The world has entered a new era. An era where power no longer comes from numbers, but from understanding. No longer from threats, but from actions without warning. No longer from presence, but from the ability to disappear and strike in a breath. When you see a mountain collapse without a sound of bombs, when you see a fortress once considered impregnable reduced to dust in a few seconds of silence, you can't help but ask, what are we facing? And are we prepared to survive, to protect, to win in a world where war no longer knocks on the door, but quietly unlocks and walks in? The GBU-72 is more than just a bomb. It's a turning point in warfare, a testament to the shift from brute force to technological intelligence. While most conventional weapons seek to inflict destruction from the surface, the GBU-72 is designed to do the exact opposite. It silently penetrates rock, blasts away all concrete, and then explodes from within the supposedly impenetrable core of the target. This is no mindless bomb. It is equipped with artificial intelligence, geologic sensors, 3D underground maps, and high-resolution satellite data, allowing the bomb to read each layer of rock like a surgeon finding the right pressure point on a patient. It doesn't guess, it calculates. Without roaring, without warning, the GBU-72 descends like a ghost and hits the heart of any underground structure that is considered absolutely safe. It is this cold precision that makes the GBU-72 a symbol of a new military doctrine, where technology replaces mass, speed replaces scale. One plane, one bomb, one decision, and an entire stronghold is obliterated without a trace. This is not just a weapon, it is a warning in cold steel. No official statement, no press conference, no claim of responsibility. After the mountain collapsed and Hezbollah's underground base was completely obliterated, the world heard nothing but silence. But that silence was the most terrifying statement of all. No fanfare, no massed troops, no flags or propaganda. The absence of noise was a clear sign that an invisible force had acted, swiftly, coldly, and with absolute precision. No radar picked it up, no satellite could detect it. And when Hezbollah's communications went dead, all that was left in the Middle East was a terrifying void. A seemingly impregnable base had vanished into darkness. Modern warfare is no longer a battleground of tanks and charging troops, but of data, timing, and surprise. The enemy doesn't know they've been targeted. The world doesn't know who pushed the button. And when the dust settles, all that's left are silent question marks in the minds of those building the next base. Silence becomes strategy. No explanation, because the action was enough. No declaration of victory, because the enemy was no longer there to hear it. This was the new model of military power. No noise, no trace, no negotiation, just disappearance and the quiet fear that spread from it. The campaign was more than just an attack. It was the declaration of a whole new military doctrine: to act first, not to wait to be attacked. In the past, war was often reactive. The enemy strikes first, and we respond with overwhelming force. But in the modern age, when the threat can come from a suicide drone the size of a backpack or a signal broadcast from underground, it is too late to simply react. The new U.S. doctrine no longer focuses on the size of the force, but on the speed of decision-making, the accuracy of information, and the ability to act before the threat becomes a disaster. the destruction of Site 72 Alpha was not a show of force. It was a clear demonstration that if there is a sign of danger, if data analysis shows a potential threat, the US will act immediately, without warning, without waiting for permission. It is absolute initiative, backed by technology, by satellites, by AI, and by uncompromising determination. One stealth aircraft, one intelligent bomb, and one single decision, enough to change the balance of power without shedding a drop of American blood. This is the world of 21st century warfare. It is not about who has the most soldiers who wins, but who sees the danger sooner, understands the strategic map better, and dares to act before the enemy picks up a weapon. In this game, the slower one never gets a chance to correct his mistakes. Nestled deep in the anti-Lebanon mountains, Site 72 Alpha is more than just an underground base. It is a pride of place, a steel fortress beneath the rock, considered by Hezbollah to be the heart of its entire network of suicide drone operators and strategic command posts in the Middle East. Built to Soviet Cold War blueprints, reinforced with triple-layer concrete, anti-vibration walls, sliding steel doors, and tunnels sloping down the mountainside, the base is buried nearly 300 feet below the rock, completely isolated from conventional attack. Each entrance is camouflaged by the natural terrain, with ventilation systems masquerading as boulders, gates hidden in bushes, and thermal sensors tuned to operate even in temperatures that drop below freezing. Site 72, Alpha is not a mere weapons depot. It is the nerve center of asymmetric warfare. Inside, drone operators, signal technicians, elite guards, and dozens of new Shahed devices were pre-programmed to create suicide drone swarms that could target American-flagged tankers in the Mediterranean. What made the base dangerous was not just its weapons, but the absolute confidence of its operators. The belief that no bomb could penetrate its defenses, no radar could find its true location, and no nation would dare take the risk. But that arrogance was the verdict, because when the United States no longer saw Site 72 Alpha as a mystery, but as a blueprint to be broken, it was only a matter of time before the mountain collapsed. The GBU-72 Hellspike is more than just a bomb. It's a symbol of death from underground, a weapon designed to destroy an enemy's belief in safety. Unlike conventional bombs that explode on the surface, the GBU-72 is designed to plunge into the rock, silently like a ghost, and then explode from within like a blow to the heart. With a 5,000-pound weight, a super-hardened steel casing, and a smart guidance system that integrates artificial intelligence, the GBU-72 needs no show. It doesn't need flash or bang, just absolute precision. And in the attack on Site 72 Alpha, it did so with cold brutality. The bomb did not explode when it hit the ground. It continued through nearly 300 feet of concrete, rock, and steel, automatically adjusting its detonation time based on the depth and structure of the target. When the time comes, the GBU-72 doesn't just destroy a base, it collapses a mountain from within. No big blows, no all-out assault, just a single weapon with intelligence, with data, with the ability to understand the enemy's structure. That's enough to turn an impregnable fortress into a mass grave. The GBU-72 doesn't aim at the surface. It aims at the heart, at the pride built in the dark, at the complacency of those who think, dig deep enough to be safe enough. But now with the Hellspike, the underground is no longer a place of refuge. It is the place to be hunted first. No one on the ground knows that death is descending from 35,000 feet. No screech, no engine noise, no flash of light to signal it. Just absolute silence over the anti-Lebanon mountains. But seconds later, that silence was broken by a blow from underground. Not from above, but from within, rising up like a stone heartbeat, for the last time.